Okay, let's talk about one of the most remarkable transformations in human life. Seriously, it's this wild journey from childhood to adulthood, a time of huge and, yeah, sometimes really confusing change. But don't you worry, we're going to break it all down together. You know that feeling, right? One day your favorite jeans fit, the next, not so much. Your voice might crack or sound totally different, and your feelings, they can feel like they're on a roller coaster. It can be exciting, a little weird, and for sure, kind of awkward. But trust me, it's all part of the master plan. So, what exactly is adolescence? Well, think of it like a bridge. It's the bridge that connects the island of your childhood to the huge mainland of adulthood. The word itself actually comes from Latin, and it literally just means to grow up. This is a totally normal, totally necessary journey for every single person. Now, here's a super important point. People use the words adolescence and puberty interchangeably, but they're not the same thing. Puberty is the engine. It's the biological process, all those physical changes that get your body ready for reproduction. But adolescence, that's the whole car. It's the entire trip, including all the mental, social, and emotional shifts that come along for the ride. So, what's actually included in this big update for your body? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the changes you can literally see and feel happening. First things first, we have to bust a huge myth. There is no such thing as being on time or late for puberty. Seriously, whether you start before your friends or after them, it's all normal. Your body runs on its own unique schedule, kind of like a pre-programmed clock. And while everyone's timing is different, some of these experiences are pretty universal. Everybody gets that famous growth spurt. Your sweat and oil glands go into overdrive, which, yeah, means things like acne and body odor can show up. Hair starts popping up in new places. And maybe the biggest one of all, your brain is literally rewiring itself, which is a huge reason for all those new thoughts and intense feelings. But the journey isn't exactly the same for everyone. Typically in boys, you'll see shoulders getting broader and a big increase in muscle. And of course, the voice deepens. For girls, hips tend to widen and breast development starts. These different paths are all thanks to different hormonal instruction manuals. So, who's the director behind the scenes, pulling all the strings? Well, it's time to meet the secret command center that runs this whole operation, your hormones. Just think of hormones as tiny chemical messengers. They're like little keys that get released into your bloodstream. They travel all over your body looking for the one specific lock, a receptor on a cell that they're designed to fit. Once they click in, they deliver their instructions. It's so cool. And it all kicks off with this amazing three-step chain reaction. First, mission control in your brain sends out the first signal. Step 2, a tiny little gland called the pituitary gets that message and launches two key messenger hormones. And finally, those messengers reach their destination, the testes in boys or the ovaries in girls, and pretty much say, all right, it's go time. And this is when the two star players really take the stage. Testosterone is the main one in boys, and it's what's behind the deeper voice and more muscle mass. And estrogen is the lead player in girls, guiding things like breast development and kicking off the menstrual cycle. But how does your body know not to go into complete overdrive? Well, it's got this incredibly smart system, almost like a thermostat. It's called a negative feedback loop. When your hormone levels get just right, they send a signal back up to the brain that says, hey, we're good, you can ease up a bit. It keeps everything perfectly balanced. So all these changes from your height to your moods, they're not random. They're all happening for one huge reason. They're all part of this grand blueprint to prepare your body for adulthood and, eventually, reproduction. A really big milestone on this journey for girls is something called menarche, which is the name for the very first menstrual period. It's a clear biological sign that the body is now capable of pregnancy. But, and this is so important, being biologically ready is very different from being emotionally and mentally ready. That takes a lot more time. Menarche kicks off the menstrual cycle, which is a totally healthy and normal monthly rhythm. In the first few days, the body sheds its uterine lining, then it gets busy maturing a new egg and rebuilding that lining. Around the middle of the cycle, the egg is released, and for the rest of the cycle, the uterus just waits, prepared for a possible pregnancy. If it doesn't happen, the whole process just starts right over again. Okay, let's zoom out for a second, way back to the very beginning. What decides biological sex in the first place? Well, it all comes down to our chromosomes. Typically, having two X chromosomes results in a female, and having one X and one Y chromosome results in a male. So what that means is pretty fascinating. Since every egg always carries an X chromosome, it's actually the sperm that determines the baby's sex. It's a 50-50 shot, depending on whether the sperm that makes it is carrying another X or a Y. That's just a scientific fact, and it clears up a lot of old myths. You know, understanding all the science is the first step. The next, and maybe even more important step, is learning how to take care of your changing body. This is such a critical time for building habits that will last you a lifetime. During this huge growth phase, your body is like a construction site that's working 24/7, and it needs way more supplies. Your demand for certain nutrients, especially calcium for your bones and iron for your blood, just skyrockets. And if you need one reason why that matters, listen to this number. A whopping 40%, nearly half, of your entire adult bone mass is built during your adolescent years. So the food you eat and the exercise you do right now is literally building the foundation you'll stand on for the rest of your life. So, what's the game plan? Honestly, it's all about the basics. Getting enough sleep, your brain needs it, moving your body every day, keeping up with hygiene as those glands get more active, and maybe the most important one of all, having a trusted adult you can talk to when you feel overwhelmed. And as you get older, your well-being also means making smart, safe, and informed choices. That includes understanding your body, your health, and how to build good, respectful relationships. It's all part of the same picture. Because this whole thing isn't just physical, right? It's so much more than that. There's this amazing quote by Alden Nolan that just nails it. He wrote, "The day a child realizes that all adults are imperfect, he becomes an adolescent. The day he forgives them, he becomes an adult. The day he forgives himself, he becomes wise." Look, all of these biological changes are just setting the stage. They're preparing you for the next incredible chapter of your life. It's a story of growth, of change, and of figuring out who you are. The science provides the blueprint, but you get to write the story. So what's it going to be?